Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Shai Bashim Makakodash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video The Missiles, the ICBMs, the arrows, so you can understand, will not be racist or biased. So you can't call the Most High racist. He only destroyed one race. You're going to destroy every race if you happen to be in Babylon the Great. And we all know, or should know, where Babylon is located. It's the U.S. And if you can't see that, then please do not watch my video. Move on to another video. Anyway, I'm not going to make this too long. I might hit a few precepts on the missiles themselves. Anyway, this is a video that came across out of Chicago. It's Sakari, the head of Sakari, chief priest, high priest, whatever his name is, Alazar. He was out there in Chicago. These are men from Chicago. And the title of the video is Woman is God Brother versus Guerrilla Hebrew and Sakari in Chicago. So this guy right, and this dude look like he's taller than, and I was tall. He got to be what, 6'4", 6'5", maybe. Anyway, this guy comes up. He got, the fisherman hat on, the Jake look. Oh, he got a super smooth face. And he comes up pushing this stuff that the Lord made male and female, created them in his image, meaning that God could be a woman. See, this is why you don't tolerate ninjaism. I guarantee you he will eat a missile or two. Guaranteed. Because first of all, if I was there, I would have, if he came with that response or that made that statement, open a statement, I would have said, look, man, I don't got no time to be talking to you, brother. Go take it down the street, man. Then he might get indignant and maybe swing and wind up getting fucked up. When we deal with Edomites that roll up on us, you know what? I got to give it to these Edomites. They ask intelligent questions, unlike you bird-brained Negroes. Unlike y'all. Don't make no sense. This is why Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is not going to do what he did when he took the sons of Israel and the mixed multitude, the mixed multitude followed the Israelites into the wilderness. The first thing that they went off on was the circumcision. They didn't circumcise their children. And it got back to Joshua, and he got pissed off, and he declared a day. It took one day, and they had to circumcise. So they forgot it that quick. First of all, they got the laws in the wilderness by Moses. And one of the laws was to circumcise a child, the boy child, on the 8th day. So they stopped. They had their children walking around, with the foreskin on them. Some of them were maybe toddlers, whatever the case may be. So it got back to Joshua, Yahushua. That's how you say Joshua in the Hebrew. And he said, look, you're going to circumcise all your children. They circumcised them. But it shows you how quick the nation of Israel goes off. That's why you need leaders that are constantly in this thing, that are constantly pushing this narrative. Unlike the former 7, some of them in the spiritual realm, Ariah's not pushing this anymore. Shah, or High Priest Shah, High Priest Ariah is not pushing it. Lahab is doing his own thing. He's saying Edomites and other nations could say it, save, or be saved. Gazak is talking about how he went to Egypt 32 times, and that's our birthplace, and it's an important place to go. and I'm here to set the record straight, and you guys are out of order. You other Israelites, former One West is out of order, and you got to come under me. Ain't nobody listen to Kazak. Ain't nobody listen. They gonna just move on. He said, "Who's this nigga?" They gonna move on. All right. As the elder Yashawamba said, and he always says this. He said it in one of my comments. He said he left us for dead, talking about Kazak. I mean, if Kazak is so into bringing everything in order, he should have been here so this thing wouldn't get out of order in the first place. And I don't know what he means specifically about getting in order. Because we here at Great Millstone are in order. We're doing the right thing. So, anyway, like I said, this long, but you can clearly see this guy is a man of a certain age. He could be in his mid-40s, late 40s, early 50s, I would say. He got the fisherman hat on. He got a super smooth face, so he shaves. One of the first things he does is shave himself with the Gillette razor or whatever razor he uses. And then he's going to come out and he's going to try to explain that, look, God is a woman. Or at least, I haven't heard the whole thing. I don't have to hear. Well, the heart, you got to hear a man. Hold on, I got to hear him out. He's already a heathen. This is why the Israelites, during the New Testament period, it was hard to accept Cornelius and the Gentiles, because they were Israelites, but they looked like this. They had smooth face, bald heads, maybe tattoos, tribal marks. They were not circumcised. They were eating pork. They would not dress in the Israelite regalia. They did not speak Hebrew. They did not know to call on the true God. They were calling on some other god, Zeus, which was a black man made up by Jake. So the only thing left for this character right here, he can be walking down the street and get stray bullet, bust him in the head, and he go in the spiritual realm. He'll be good. Or one of these individuals right here pull out something and just pop him a couple times and send him to the spiritual realm. Now, if he happens to live, and I guarantee you, he's not one of the elect. He's not going to come around. That's just my assessment. As a man, he's not going to come around. So it's a waste of time even acknowledging this guy for what he just said. Anyway, like I said, I'm gonna close, but I'm gonna go. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put in the word. Let me do this. Let me do this here. Let me come over here, because I heard this on the news. Bear with me for a minute. The Arrow missile system in Israel. Okay, boom, boom. Arrow missile family. The Arrow of Het is a family of anti-ballistic missiles designed to fulfill an Israeli requirement for a missile defense system that would be more. I'm not going to read the rest of it. You know what I'm going to do? Let me go to the images. Arrow 3 for National Missile Shield. And why is it called an arrow? because this defense system is a missile that shoots down other missiles from the enemy. Israel aborts an Arrow 3 test. It's a defense system against other missile systems. Israel's Arrow anti-missile defense. Arrow 3 missile defense sailed to Germany. So I did that to show you that when we go in the scriptures and we look up and we hear the scripture might speak of arrow, I know that's in the Apocrypha. There's a second Ezra 16. It mentions the word arrow, if I'm not mistaken. So let me put in the word arrow. Wait a minute. R-R-O-W, R-R-O-W. Put in the word arrows. In ancient times, when they used to shoot arrows, they always shot it up into the sky so it can arc and then come down on the enemy. Missiles act the same way. They go up, they go in the arcing fashion, and they come down upon the enemies. Let me just see what's up here. This is a good one. I will make mine arrows drunk with blood. And my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain and of the captives from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. So this is the Lord speaking, by the way. And ultimately his arrows are going to be the ICBM missiles. Behold, I create the smith that blow off the coals in the fire, that created a weapon for his work. And I have also created the waster to destroy. These are talking about literal arrows. How do you know when they're talking about actual arrows and missiles or ICBM missiles? It is based upon the context. Job 6 verse 4. For the arrows of the Almighty are what? The missiles are within me. The poison, in other words, arrows meaning this is a spiritual thing. He's sick. The Most High made him sick. Therefore drinketh up my spirit the terrors of the Most High to set themselves in array against me. Means the Most High plagued them. So I was off on that. I corrected myself. See how fast I corrected myself? This is talking about missiles now. It could be applied to missiles back then. Arrows back then. Psalm 7 verse 13. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. The instruments of death are the missiles. He ordaineth his arrows, the missiles, the Most High's arrows, against the persecutors. Who are the persecutors? Esau, number one on the list, and the other nations. Psalms 18 verse 14. Yeah, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. So they're going to be discomfited. Right here it says arrows upon the string, right? The string or the bow, modern bow, are the silos. These are obviously not talking about ICBM missiles. It's not even talking about actual arrows. It's talking about plagues. So the scriptures are very poetic. Okay, I like this one. You can start from the first verse, go right to the point. 7th verse, Psalms 58 verse 7. Let them melt away as waters which run continually, when he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows, missiles, let them be as cut in pieces. That's talking about the ICBM. This is not talking about actual arrows or ICBMs. So you got to know. This is why people get confused when they read the scriptures. This is why John the Apostle cried when he saw that the book couldn't be unsealed, the 7 seals. He cried. The angel said, don't cry. In so many words, he said, the Lion of the tribe of Judah broke the seals. So if he broke the seals, deciphered the mystery, he gave it to certain people, and he gave it to the prophets. That's another good one you can use. Thine arrows also went abroad. As arrows are in the hand of the mighty man. The mighty man represents any military, superior military. America would be considered the mighty man, right? Russia would be considered the mighty man. Scripture says in Joel 3, let the weak say I'm strong, because they became mighty. What made them mighty? The missiles, the arrows. Another good one. This can apply to actual arrows in the ancient world. It can apply to plagues. It can apply to the judgment of the Most High, but it can also apply to ICBMs. Cast forth lightning and scatter them. Scatter, another word for scatter, is to destroy them. Shoot out thine arrows and destroy them. So that the ICBM missile systems around the world are the Most High. The Most High gave them the technology. That's his technology. The MOTB is the Most High's technology. Another good one, Isaiah 5 verse 28. Another good one. With arrows and with bows, silos, ICBMs, and missile silos shall men come thither, because all the land shall become briars and thorns. That's talking about ultimately America. Briars and thorns mean a desolate land. Now we know these are two of my favorite prophetic scriptures, Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 50 verse 9, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, which we know what Babylon is code for the U.S., an assembly of great nations. It's talking about the Russian Republic coming back together. That's what the war in Ukraine was all about. Because they're about to surrender. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to have Russian men go up in there and pop and deal with all the Ukrainian women, and all the children are going to be Russians. Which they're the same thing. This is bringing the Ukraine was a part of the Russian Republic. From the North country, the uttermost north is Russia. And they shall set themselves in array against her. And that goes into Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog is only going to do this one time. They're not going to reassemble themselves 1,000 years after the kingdom. From thence she shall be taken. Who shall be taken? Babylon the Great. Their arrows, right here is talking about actual missiles. No, that's talking about a ostrich inside joke. That's talking about actual arrows, brother. Well, you don't know. You get away from a nigga like that. Their arrows, their missiles, their ICBMs, their Cermat, Satan 1, Satan 2, shall be as of a what? A mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. None shall return in vain. The Cermat, I believe that's a Cermat 2, which is also called the Satan 2. Its range is almost 12,000 miles. It only takes about 5,000 miles to get from Russia to the U.S. From the middle of Russia to the middle of the U.S., the Bible Belt, it's only not even 6,000 miles. The Cermat or the Cermat 2, the Satan 2, can, if the Most High wanted, it can go and come back. It's not going to come. It's going to be a one-way trip. It's doing one thing and one thing only. That's to destroy this place. Now you have Bishop Nate talking about Rome is going to be wiped off of the map. There's not going to be no more Europe. That's not scriptural. Europe is going to be here. Rome is going to be here. Mount Seir is going to be here. We're going to take Mount Seir. Another one, Jeremiah 50 verse 14, put yourself in array against Babylon. You got these scholars, right? Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. Let me go to Jeremiah 50 verse 14, and I'm going to get ready to cut it short. I don't want to go too long. Okay, it says, put yourself in array against Babylon, around about all ye that bendeth the bow, the silo, shoot at her the missiles, spare no arrows, shoot all of them, for she have sinned against Yahweh. So when somebody says, oh, Esau can't sin, it's not, it said he has sinned against Yahweh. And I knew Cambridge wasn't going to say nothing about it, because they don't know how to break it down. Look, Cambridge Bible for School and Colleges, they linked Isaiah, which they gave you a good precept. They linked Isaiah 13, 16 to 22. Two children being dashed into pieces. What's going to dash them into pieces? The missiles. Jeremiah 50 verse 18. Therefore thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of Israel, behold, I will punish the king of Babylon, not ancient Babylon, but the new Babylon, and his land, as I have punished the king of Assyria, because America is also known as Assyria. Let's see what the Ellicott. None of these commentators are going to say it's talking about, the U.S. because the Most High is not dealing with them. All ye that bend the bow, the words are descriptive of the light armed troops that form the strength of the Medo-Persian army. Nope. And it mentioned Jeremiah 49:35. Thus said the Lord of hosts, behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the chief of their might. Then Yahweh said to me, out of the north, and evil shall break forth on all the inhabitants of the land. There's another one to add to Jeremiah 1 verse 14. No one ever goes to that one. The words belong properly to the previous clause, and the colon should come after them. Stress is laid in the latter clause on the fact that Babylon has sinned in her cruelty and luxury. Does Revelation 18 come to mind? They have lived deliciously. Isaiah chapter 47. And tyranny, oppressing the people, mainly Israel, against the righteous judgment of Yahweh. So none of these commentators are going to say it's the U.S. Number one, they don't know, and number two, if they do know, they ain't going to say it. Jeremiah 51:11. Make bright the arrows. We know what that's talking about based upon the context. Gather. Jeremiah 49, when it, pertaining to Esau, combination of Edom and Esau. 49, Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51 is a prophetic prophecy that's going to take place in our lifetime. And after that, there's not going to be any war. Nations shall learn war no more, any longer. Make bright the arrows, the missiles, ICBMs. Gather the shields, the defense system. Yahweh have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. The kings of the Medes represent what? Russia, which is north of the Medes. For this device is against Babylon, to destroy it. The Medes never destroyed Babylon. It was a surgical strike. Killed the king of Babylon and his lords, and they just made it a province, ultimately the Persian Mede Empire. Destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. You got a few more. Let me see what this one says. Ezekiel 21:21. For the king of Babylon stood at the parting of the way, at the head of the two ways to use divination. He made his arrow bright. He consulted with images. He looked in the liver. Yeah, that's mentioned in Tobit about a fish's liver, a cure for the blind. So Ezekiel 39, we know Ezekiel 39, Ezekiel 39, Ezekiel 38. We know that that's talking about now. It says, and I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand. The arrow Israel system is not going to work, and the U.S. missile system is not going to work. Their defense system is not going to work. Their gates shall be wide open. Nahum 3. Ezekiel 39 verse 9. And they that dwell in the cities of Israel shall go forth, and shall set on fire and burn the weapons, both the shields and the bucklers, the modern day weapons, the bows, silos, and the arrows, ICBMs, and the hand staffs, which are the a man-made rocket launcher. They have a system called the Javelin system. And the spears, rocket launchers, and they shall burn them with fire 7 years. And 7 meaning until they're completely burned. There's not going to be a re-emergence of the Gog and Magog coming up, Esau gathering a nation coming against us. After this war, there's not going to be any war like it. There's not going to be any more wars. It's just going to be peace. We're going to be on top of the nation, and that's it. Glittering spear, it's also known as the arrows, are also known as a glittering spear, the missile system. And there's many scriptures. There's tons of scriptures on the ICBM missile system and the destruction of Babylon. Anyway, with that, I'm saying shalom.